Hello everyone, this is the first model that I've been able to make with the kits that I set aside for the challenge for December. This is a simple start, so I thought I'd do something that was a bit obvious. And of course we got a tank engine. Now this is quite a cute little tank engine. I did look to my Thomas model and kind of take some ideas from that thing, right? Short stumpy boiler. And you know, the smaller sort of parts. The wheels are obviously just as they are. Nice set of drivers, really good for, well, anything really. I mean, everybody loves drive wheels. Cool funnel because there is a Technic brick going all the way through that, and that's what's keeping it all together. Make sure the camera focuses. There we are. So I did keep the kind of funnel built up and kept it as it is. Don't want to mess with that. I did have two of these 1x1 square light pieces at the front. Let me try and use something to point with. So I had two of these available in the kits, which I thought was sneaky, but it was brilliant. These were literally just like, oh, I need these 1x1 bricks to fill a gap on the original tender engine. And so I thought, yeah, we could just chuck those in. That'll be alright. So yeah, that's just like the headlight sort of area. It's looking not too bad. I did have this kind of front section as well, which was obviously a light detail, but I kind of want to keep that built up as it is because there is a specific sort of use for that, because obviously the number is printed sideways, so I want to try and keep it on the front, if any of that made sense. Buffers are kind of not buried underneath, but they are tucked away and actually quite tucked into the base, which is quite nice. It does look a lot tidier, but at the same time the buffers themselves are quite tiny. The actual buffers themselves, these aren't bad, but you know, I'd rather use these than try and make some brick built rubbish, because you can never get the perfect size. It's nice and smooth, obviously, because why wouldn't it be? The dome is of course a nice, well, yeah, it actually is a nice shape. I didn't know what to really do for the dome. I wanted to have something in that gap, because to me using some more bricks is good, and obviously that gap there, it's just a bit too bold. So the dome section is 2x3 with this special slope brick as well. It's a 2x2. Very cool, so I just chuck that on there. And yeah, don't like half bad. For the cab, got the window pieces, but I popped out all of the glass sort of panel pieces that would sit inside. It's got those to the side there. I've got some pretty good detail going on, so if I could take off this roof section using some red tiles as well, just to get more bricks used. There's a seat in there, which is really nice. I can take that seat out to show you some more details. There is a little hole in the middle there, and that's supposed to be like the main firebox area where you would actually shovel all the coal, and that's pretty good. Got some special bricks I can use as well. This is what I mentioned earlier. So that black brick in the middle is a oh Christ, come on camera. Very nice bloody thing. Right, that's never going to focus. Okay. So it's actually a 2x1 where there are studs on the side, and that is the thing that will allow me to hold the, where the hell is it? Here we are. So it'll basically hold this like facing forward, basically. It's a really nice brick, and I'm glad that sort of brick exists, because there's more possibilities, more varieties for building, and I just used the 2x2 circle piece to kind of make it look like a control panel. So we got that on there. Let's get it all together and we'll finish it off. There we go. There we are. Right, that's on there. Excellent. Off to a great start. A tank engine. That's arguably going to be the best model I'm going to make all month. There could be something better. I might be able to make something a little bit bigger, and I hope I do. I've got plenty of bricks. Just need to be careful I'm not using too many. I'm going to be making rolling stock as well. I want to be able to make something that uses the power functions and the whole motor sort of system I got set to the side as well, because that is something I did use. Right, so my first bit of rolling stock. This is supposed to be a brake van. It's quite a nice little brake van, I gotta be honest. I'm really happy with this, given the limited parts and the kind of the little tidiness of it, because, you know, it's really small. It's really cute. Roof even comes off, so that's a good thing. In fact, let's have a quick look inside. There's nothing. I could have put the chair in there, actually. Let's put the chair in there. Go on, then. We'll do that. Chair in there. There we go. We have a chair in there. Haha. Look at that. So, this is something that you would put on the back of a freight train, in England at least. I don't know. Well, they have cabooses in America, so I suppose that's your equivalent. But yeah, brake vans are kind of smaller, really. So, yeah, I mean, there is supposed to be a little extra thing that comes out here where the crew members inside would be able to... I don't know, I think that's pretty accurate. I don't know, I'm picturing it to be more like a caboose, which is, again, a bit bad because I'm stuck having to use American models as inspiration, but yeah, I think with the brake van it is actually more square, more boxed in, where they have this open space where they can actually reach over to the couplers on the outside. Yeah, I think that is actually correct. Okay. It's good to do a bit of research before these fucking models, isn't it? Yeah. It does look really good. It's a tiny little box, but it looks really good. I was able to use the special wheelbases kind of built up like the motor. This isn't the actual Motor 1, but I can use that again for the special flatbed, I suppose, you know, with the massive coach base. So that's the thing I can do in the future, but I like using these because it does look really good. Plenty of detail there. It's perfect length as well. Mainly because, you know, these are my two big roof tile pieces, so I'll have to try and make this to the length of the roof, which is a bit of a problem, really, because it's tiny. I do like the idea of just sitting things, well, the roof that is, onto just a set of flat tile pieces, because it makes taking it off a lot easier. Yes, in time it could eventually bump its way off if you're going across bumpy tracks, but in a perfect world, that shouldn't be happening at all. It's a nice little model. Not a bad start to the rolling stock side of this, but yeah, very good. So this is, to me, like a cross between Boko and Daisy. That's what I picture this to be. It's got a front section where you can put your workers, and that's where I would imagine, you know, that's all they ever need. That's like the cab. And at the back is the diesel area itself, where the power functions actually live. So it's good to finally get the power functions onto one of my models. It is at the back, basically, so it's all kind of set in the rear. I kind of had to build that all on there first, and then kind of just have to build around it. So that's the motor there. It's looking really good. I've got the other wheelbase built up and just kept it as it was, because, you know, I had no reason to really change that. It's a very simple model, and I don't like how simple it is. This is, again, causing some concerns for the rest of the series, and I don't know how well this is going to go. But as its own model, it doesn't actually look too bad. This could be a lot worse. I think one thing that helps with some of the details is that front section, where you have your cab, you've got your windows, and on the roof we've got some lights. Again, it kind of sticks out a little wing sort of detail there. It's obvious that, you know, that's the cab. Again, we've got some more details going along the top, some tiles, the 2x2 white round piece with a 2x2 green tile, and yeah, it kind of just rounds off there. I've copied the system that I did last time, and that is having these like base plates in the way of the tiles on the top, just to prevent them all from slipping off, so it allows me to take the roof off with ease. Of course it is powered, so just for the sake of showing you, there we go. Lovely jubbly. Looking at the front, it actually doesn't look that bad a model, but when you look at the whole thing, it really isn't anything special. So this, I don't know where I got the... Well, actually, I kind of do know where they got the inspiration from. This bit was... it's similar in build to my Contraption Mark 1, where the piston rod goes upwards. And it's a very odd looking build, you know, obviously with that bit there, having to make do with the bricks I've got to make the kind of piston area. But it looks really good, I do like that. It's a tender engine as well, small little tender. It looks like a narrow gauge engine, and you know what? I like that. So it does work very well, nice and smooth. But one thing I've noticed just before I started the camera, this is actually tilted downwards a little bit. So it should be like that, but instead it's like that. Oh dear. You can turn around and get a better look. So I'm putting some of the newer bricks to good use. So I got the cow catchers, you can see there. That's good to finally get that on a model. I'm using the slope bricks as well with these stickers on. These are very nice stickers, of course. Finally got this side brick up to good use. That's nice to finally put it on a steam engine as well. I'm kind of like, this is my first proper good steam locomotive. Like the tank engine was like the standard stuff. This is the proper unique one. I'm using the special, it's the 2x3 with the rounded piece on the end. This is what I use to connect my little Technic bricks together between two, like an engine and a tender, so to say. Got the little golden piece there, it's upside down, connected in by the stud through the hole, and that's kind of like the whistle, I suppose. I mean, given how the rest of the engine was built, that's where it's gonna have to go. Nice tool funnel, of course. The big piston area again. Not exactly what I would have hoped, but I couldn't really do anything else. I did try to lower it down and obviously just put these Technic bricks just about halfway through. But seeing that longer sort of half of the Technic rod just flinging up and down, it didn't, I just couldn't keep it there. It did not look right. So I'd rather have this as it is now than have it all hunkered down and just have two sticks just flying around in the air. The cab is nice and tidy, very tucked away. No chair this time, because I don't even think about putting the chairs in. It's not a good thing, but you know what, who cares. Plenty of space inside as well. Not that much detail, sadly, but then again, limited in bricks, so it's understandable. I'm just looking at it from the side, when the camera focuses. There we are. It really doesn't look that bad. I am very happy with that model. With better bricks, of course, this can turn into something a lot better, and it, again, has done in the past. I've got a Sterling single model for the white medallion, so check that out, because it's like a much better version of this, basically. So with that kind of main section out of the way, let's get a quick look at the tender. Of course, I am using the better wheelbase, I'm going to be calling that from now on. It's really good, highly detailed. A little bit smaller than the... no, actually, it's the same length as the... what the hell is it called? Brake van, that's it. Because the brake van uses these 6x6 roof tiles. And, well, there's two of them, so the total length is 12 studs, and there's 12 studs along there. So I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah. Nice and tidy. Very good looking. Using plenty of bricks. Nice red details going along the top as well. Especially with the wheels. Makes it look really good. And there we go. That is my second steam engine. It's dark at the time of recording this, and I need it on. And frankly, it kind of spoils the look of this brilliant little engine I've built. It's a 440 tank engine, and it looks absolutely amazing. This is, I'm absolutely over the moon with how well this turned out. Especially that front section, it looks so good. So, to those of you who are joining this kind of series for the first time, I've got a bunch of bricks that I'm limited to in terms of building, and I have to build as many different train or rolling stock designs as I can. And this is my 5th model, so it's a tank engine again. It's larger than the first one that I made. It's a 440 again, and it's using bricks that I haven't been able to use yet. For example, this one I still haven't been able to use yet, which is a bit frustrating. I nearly put that on the front, but it doesn't look right, so I'm going to save it for another model. There's these long black bricks there, which are really cool bricks. I have also remembered to put the chair in this time. That's a good thing. I've been able to make use of the 2x2 round bricks at the top there. I've changed the kind of funnel design. Instead of adding in this... oh Christ, without dropping it. But instead of going with this sort of look, I've actually just stripped it down a bit. And I've got the funnel on the top. With that yellow piece as well, I thought I'd chuck it in the middle, you know, more colour. At the front, specifically, it looks really good. I've got a little, hang on, let me try and, there we are. You can see there at the very front, so I have a light detail there. It was going to go on the other one of these gold pieces, but obviously I needed that for the whistle, which is back here. So I kept the other one just, you know, there, just for the sake of, again, more colour, more detail, looks nice. But yeah, it's actually really good. I've also got the taller little slope bricks with the stickers on between the two trailing wheels at the front. And these are brilliant. Well, it's the stickers mainly. These are from the 317 My Own Train set. Not actually that easy to get a hold of, but if you do have one, treasure those bricks because they are beautiful. I think it was a good idea as well to take out the blind wheels that were in the middle just to, you know, create a different look. That was really nice, but I did have to fill that gap because obviously there would be holes there otherwise, and it's not the nicest thing ever just to see a bunch of spaces and what should be a nice clean wall. It's very smooth, of course, because first of all I built it, second of all it shouldn't be built where it can't go around corners. And there's moments where I think, oh my god, I need this one brick to, you know, fill this gap, otherwise things could potentially break, and it's brilliant. I love this. This is why I didn't plan this in advance. This was just brilliant. You can see where, just underneath where my thumb is, I have a that is a 1x1 transparent piece, so it's about literally there. You see there, okay, so it's a 1x1 transparent square piece, and it's the sort of thing where like, oh my god, I need that tiny little brick, and I have one, and it's amazing. Those are some of the kind of top of the boiler details, which is again something I didn't actually show yet. But there's a moment where it goes 6 wide just to kind of meet that outline bit there. I was going to put a brick underneath there, but I thought I might keep that nice smooth line. So what am I going to do? So instead I built above rather than underneath it. Could take off the roof, because why not? Because it's a tank engine, it needs to be able to get a hold of its coal somehow. I nearly did the trick where I can't remember what the names of, from Thomas and Friends, there's two characters called Bill and Ben. They're quarry engines, but they have their coals, little coal things, whatever you would call them, about here in front of the cab. I went to try and do that design, but with the way it was all built up, I thought, no, I can't really do that. So instead, I went good old style, traditional, in the back there, or what that's, you know, that's what it's supposed to be, okay? It's normally a bit more built out, and there's more kind of space on the inside for the driver and the fireman to be able to grab the coal. It's actually very spacious in there, which is quite nice. I did have to use a lot of these 2x2 slopes, as you could see there, just to, oh, sorry, there we are, so you can see in the back there, just to, you know, help with the construction of the model. It's not ideal because it looks a bit stupid, but you know what, who cares? I'm not going to be taking this model apart now. But that is not bad at all. I don't know if I'd say that's my favourite steam engine I've built so far, because that steampunker is definitely unique. And the first tank engine is obviously going to be up there as well. Because I got the light on, I can see the massive shadow behind the model. Oh, that outline of the shadow looks really nice. So yeah, that's model number 5. I wonder what I'm going to be building next. I do wonder indeed. So I watched the 1964, or was it 65? It's one of the two. Some sources say it's 1 year, other sources say it's the other. But there's an old film called The Train, and it was a bloody cool film. And at the beginning of the film, there was an armoured steam locomotive. So I thought, that is an interesting idea. Something that's thick, bulky, it's armoured. And so I thought I'd try and undertake that challenge. Originally it was going to be a diesel, but then trying to hide the actual piston mechanism underneath here was an interesting challenge. I had to bring this out to, what's that? That's 10 studs wide. And it's quite a thick skirt. I'm glad I've got a lot of these 2x2 slopes left over, because I was able to use nearly all of them on this model. Let me show you how many I've got left. So I've got, oh Christ, I've got dropping it everywhere. So that's how many I've got left over, and there's 4 black ones at the bottom. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 left over. Wow. It's actually not a bad model. It looks really cozy for something that's supposed to be tankish and brute. I am debating whether I want this to be a diesel or a steamy, because I do have a funnel here at the front, and obviously there are diesels out there, obviously many diesels that use the piston mechanism for the wheels. But there's things like this, obviously lights on the side there. Still glad I got those 1x1 light pieces as well. These big old gate pieces there. Again, whistles, or I suppose you could use these as horns. I'll let you decide. I suppose if you're going to go old style, then a steamy would make sense, but something a big bulky diesel would look a bit more modern. In the back, plenty of cab space, but not actually enough for someone to stand up in. It's a bit hunkered down. Well, no, it's not actually that hunkered down. It looks like it because, you know, the cab is really small, but it's this skirt piece again that's lifted it up. The cab roof isn't actually designed to come off, but ooh, look, oh, never mind. Put two windows off with me. So well, that's a good thing, so we can get a good look inside. There we are. So, come on, camera. There we go. So it's nothing too complicated. The entire front section is all covered up. There is a seat. I did remember to put it in this time. It's on the end there. And plenty of windows, especially with the ability to look out through the front this time. Very good indeed. And yeah, it's just nicely detailed. I did look through some of the models from the factory train set again for some inspiration. Thinking, what one should I do? And one of the last models, around 25 or so, is the model that basically represents Mavis from Thomas and Friends. It's like a diesel model that hides the wheels again through another skirt. And I thought, yeah, that sort of thing looks good. And again, with the film taking inspiration, this is the end result. It's not a bad model. I do like it. The only thing that is a bit of a problem, I do have to press down really hard to get the wheels to move. And even then it does catch on a bit of, you know, that lacking of space between this brick line and the space it actually needs. So yeah, that's, you can't even see the rod from there. I suppose that's a good thing. So going back to a rolling stock now, and we have a nice long gondola car. Looks very nice indeed, and I do have two special built-in bases. One of them is a motor and the other one is brick built. But the cheaty bit is, obviously, I'm not using the battery pack or the infrared receiver because it's going to stick out, it's going to look awful, and we just don't need it. And I don't have any more of these. Hang on, let me try and get it off. Oh, there we go. So I've only got one of these separate, and that is to go on the brick built wheelbase. So if I'm going to make a couple of models on this big coach base, I'm going to have to use the motor. It's not ideal, but it's not the worst thing ever because I can just do things like this. It's a very simple model and it looks really good. I do like it. It's something I might actually keep in the future, to be honest, because it's, again, really nice looking. I'm just looking behind me now, seeing if I've got any more coach bases available to make it more appropriately coloured. Do I have a red base? We'll work on that in the future. So yeah, it's using more of the amazing 2x2 slope bricks just along that bottom layer there, as you can see on the inside where it slopes in. And the second layer is just your standard 1x6 and a couple of 1x4 bricks, followed by a layer of tiles that are, again, dominantly 1x6, but to kind of fill that gap, I've got two 1x4s along there. And it does look really good. I am very pleased with how that looks. So let me just try and get the the train wheels, the drive wheels together so I can kind of show you what it would look like, I suppose, just for the sake of getting it on camera. There we are. Moves quite smoothly actually, that's not bad. Wouldn't recommend pushing a motor around a circuit without the battery though. It will wear down the motor. Not a lot, but it's not ideal. Don't do that for goodness sakes. And I'll tell you what, because it is a truck that you put things in, let's just get a couple of things in there, shall we? I'll have a seat. Okay, let's just fill it up, get some old scrap in there. There we are, making it useful. Liking it. Alright, so the White Medallion version 2 is based off the British Sterling single, and as I mentioned at the end of the last model, I thought I had an idea, and that thought was made into reality. A Sterling single tank engine. Yeah. It looks really cute, it looks so good. I'm actually very pleased with this. So it has a very nice shape at the front, it's all built up to look really nice, so, you know, as it should do. It's using the special sticker parts, as you can see there, looking really good. It's got the big light piece at the front as well. You can't see it too well, but it does have, hang on, if I try and, that angle maybe? Yeah, trying to get the light in, that's all. But it is using that big gate piece across the front. That is there, I promise. Yeah, that's probably the best angle. It's a bit dark today, I do apologise. Nice tool funnel. I thought I'd go with the tool funnel this time again because I don't think I've used that since the first tank engine. Yeah, I might do for the second one actually, but never mind. Yeah, nice tool funnel basically, that's all I want. Nice round, sort of chunkier boiler again. And this is the cool thing. So this sort of top section here, I mentioned in the past about the Bill and Ben characters from Thomas, where they had coal stacks, or whatever you want to call them, in front of the cab. So that's where it sits there. So coal sits in there. There will be a little hatch or something that you'll be able to open up in the cab to allow coal to fall through on the cab floor and then get it into the firebox, or into the boiler I should say. And it looks really good. It's a really nice looking detail. That's the sort of thing I should probably add to a future model of mine. That would be pretty good for some, you know, that's good inspiration for future models. I do need to get building again. It's been a bit lackluster recently. The cab is also built up, well, the cab is tiny, but the roof is a bit special. So let me grab those bricks and kind of show you what I mean. So you might not be able to see it. The cab, of course, what was that? Yeah, so windows are see-through. I've got the pane bits moved out. It's tiny. Right, back to the roof. Roof, that's what I need to say, not cab. So there's one of these and some of these. On the top of the window, the studs are hollowed out. So what I can do with the tile piece, instead of having it perfectly square up to the end, I can move it in by half a stud and have it sit inside of the special little hole pieces underneath the tile, so it's half a stud in. So that's what I've done there. That's half a stud out, just a little tiny bit. It's not too obvious, and you know, sticking it out towards the rear, it doesn't really match this. It's not too much further back, but it's a good shape. It's positioned quite perfectly, and I do like that. Another thing I did with the roof as well, as you can tell, I'm using green slopes again, kind of keeping it all together with a bunch of red tiles. I've got both of my grey roof pieces there, so there's your evidence and proof that I am brick building this. This, I would argue, is one of the better steam locomotives that I've built, or even just one of the better trains I've put, one of the better train models I've put together throughout this entire challenge special series thingy. Still don't know what the fuck I'm calling this. But yeah, it's really good. And I hope this is inspiring other people to build some models as well. So upon first glance, what could you say about this train? It's a tank engine. It's got the drive wheels working for it. It's got a cab, it's got a boiler, funnel, it's got everything else basically. But it's built upside down. These are the underparts of the bricks, as I'm sure you can recognise. And those are your standard studs underneath. Yeah, so this is built upside down. This was the fun section of the kind of challenge, I suppose. This was a lot easier than I was anticipating. It does work really smoothly, of course, as it should do. There's no buffers because I wasn't exactly sure where they would line up against some of my other, you know, trains basically. So all three buffer pieces, all here, not using them. Second time I've had to use my light as well. It is dark, but also the camera wouldn't focus when I did the take earlier, so there's your reason why. But yeah, it does look really good. So there are some things that I was able to kind of work around as well. So if you look to the top here, the funnel is the kind of same tool piece, but the studs are on the bottom. There is a axle piece going along there, as you can see at the top, where I'm just connecting the wheel from, and I can just, again, take the wheel out, put it on the other side, and just have it so the studs are facing downwards to connect it there. I could also get this light piece on because the 1x2 on the side can, for fuck's sake, we are not doing this. I do apologise, my camera's been very, what's the word, aggravating today. Yeah, to put it PG. So I can still use that 1x2 brick, just turn it upside down, of course, because, you know, it allows me to work on my creativity, I suppose, and that's a good thing. Creativity, good thing. I am starting to talk up my arse, I do apologise. It's late, it's dark, it's tiring. Wasn't the best idea to record at this time, but that's not a problem. One of the best things about this, I'm going to take the cab off ever so delicately. I'm using the 1x6 gate piece as the windows to look through the front. So we got windows on the side, but you got these two gaps here, and that's your, again, the window space through the front. So if I can try and show you that more properly, it is a bit difficult to see. But yeah, you can see it. Where's it pointing? There we go. So there is one of the holes. You can see I can get a brick through there, and it looks really good. That was like one of the first things. I wonder if we can use that for something else. And the upside down train idea arrived, and here we are. I can't use any other. Well, actually, I could. I could use some of these wheels, some of the smaller ones, but I think that would have created more of a challenge than what was necessary. I won't do another upside down train because it's a bit too well, I say a bit too blocky, it's way too blocky. Very square boiler, square cab, square body. Not the best thing ever. I'll tell you what though, what it has allowed me to do. The infamous 2x2 slope brick. We're not dropping it. One of these, as I'm sure everyone is aware of, that exists. I can now turn them upside down and get some special details by the wheels, where I would normally have to use one of these ones, the inverted slope bricks with the studs are on the top. I can now use the traditional slopes to get that look, and it looks good. I'm a fan, I like it. A few ideas there that I can use in future models. Yeah, not a bad engine. Not a bad engine at all. Wow. So this is a passenger car, or it's supposed to be a passenger car. I have gone ahead and actually put the power functions inside this time, so allow me to grab this over here. Of course, the roof is removable with its own special details with the tiles on the top and specialised tiles to prevent it from sliding around. Might do that a bit more often with proper models of mine. So yeah, power functions are inside. That is to actually allow this thing to work, mainly because of the wheelbases again that I'm using. They are, well, kind of set in stone for this challenge. One of them's brick built and the other one is the actual motor. I could make models, and I can still do some models with the motor set of wheels, but just without the power functions. But for something that's this tool, I can actually get the power functions inside and get it to work. The design is very simple, I'm pretty sure you're aware of, because I've only got 6 windows total in the brick set I've been given, and thankfully I did have some of these taller bricks that are 3 bricks tall, and it's a 1x2 in width and length. Pretty good, I like these bricks. I was gonna put the bricks the other way around like this, but I thought having it go in and out, having that sort of odd look didn't really suit it, so I thought just keep it facing in, keep the wall nice and smooth. Yeah. Annoyingly, there's this little piece here which I honestly could have fixed. I still have plenty of 1x4s rather than using 1x6, which is the length of the bricks I'm using along the main body there. That could have been fixed, but I just ended up using you know, what am I trying to say? The standard bricks that were along there, yeah, you know what I mean. That's just how I built it, okay? We'll go with that. I do apologise, I have just woken up, and it's gone 10 o'clock in the morning, and I've just woken up. I'm still a bit groggy after a lot of late night building last night. So this isn't going to be the best video, but you know what, it's something. So I'll get that on the go in just a moment. The ends of the coach are just plain brick walls, because obviously I don't really have that much detail left. I nearly ended up using one of these, but I'm one of those assholes that says, right, if I'm going to have this on one side, I want another one of these on the other. I've only got one, so sadly that didn't happen. Take another quick look at the roof. Again, underneath it has these plates that prevent the roof from just sliding off whenever it's on the actual model itself. Along the top it uses the green slope bricks and a couple of special ones as well. These 2x2 thinner slope bricks are really nice, and the taller ones, which are 2x4s. Very good indeed. That is on, yeah, that's on, okay. Right. Come on, work. There we are. It could work as a tram as well, I'll tell you what, that doesn't look that bad. Passenger car / tram. Or trolley if you're American. Bloody good model. This is arguably the best one that I'm going to be making in this series. It's supposed to be, because the shape is a bit stupid, an American diesel. If you look at it from the front, it looks a little bit more obvious with the whole shape nose thing going on there. Some details along the top, but we'll get to that in time. Finally using the long 1x6 fence piece, which I absolutely love. Of course, fans of mine should know that. I got this big old nose piece that I kind of put together when I was making the previous model. It was just a way of just putting some bricks together and, you know, just saving a bit of space instead of having all my bricks thrown across the floor. And I thought, you know what, that's the nose for an American diesel. And it works really well. Where that... oh Christ, the roof fell off. That's a good thing. So there's 4 red tiles underneath the nose bit, kind of just to fill that gap, but it also supplies some more colour, which is really nice. Another thing that I've been able to do is add these special slope bricks, the tiles that is. I don't know if I've used these before now. I might have done in 1 or 2 odd models, but you know what? It's good to use them again. They do have a unique shape, and you know, it's nice to use them. Let's keep that roof piece off. I'll show you what it kind of looks like on the inside. So there's the infrared receiver sitting in the cab, only using 4 of the 6 window pieces. I'm going to take off these other sections. Again, using the smaller slope bricks. Very good to get them used. Along the top there, now along the top of the actual diesels, I'm British, not American, so I may get this wrong. But there are like these vents sort of things, I suppose, you know, just to help keep the engine. It's like the equivalent to a funnel for a steam engine. But I'm pretty sure I've seen them along the top of a diesel, so these 2x2 cylindrical bricks are supposed to represent that. And again, taking that off and going inside, that's where the battery is going to be housed. I nearly went ahead and kept the battery as it was and get rid of this wall and make it so the battery was part of that wall at the back. It would have been a better shape, but I wouldn't have been able to hide the wires because of all the kind of bricks I'm limited to, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. And I did have to kind of figure out a way to hide, because I need to raise the battery up by 1 whether it's sitting above the pivot point for the rear set of wheels. It was a bit complicated, and I might try this again in the next model. But you know what, it's not half bad. It's definitely not a bad model. This is up there, like top 3. This is brilliant in the series. So yeah, we'll move this along the... You know, putting the back together, that's really not a bad shape. That's brilliant. Oh man. Sadly I won't be keeping this, because obviously challenge series you've got to take it apart and make a few more models. But, I don't know, I'm not a diesel person. If you want to see this again, let me know. But you know what? Let's just show the action video. The action shots, I suppose, of me just doing this. It's a nice diesel. It's really nice. I do like it. In, what was it, 2015? There was a Lego City train set. that had, it was a red diesel, but it was a thin diesel. The boiler, or like the main body of it, was only 4 studs wide. So what I did was kind of copy that idea by having the body of the main engine 4 studs wide, but it used the battery box with the power functions as a part of that shape. And it was amazing to see that they would make a battery box in a different colour to make that engine. So I thought, well, yeah, may as well try and go along that route. Obviously the battery box is grey, not green, but that's something I'll have to obviously live with. That I'm okay with, and it's not too bad. It looks a bit weird with all the colours and little details like this where studs are hanging out, but again, it's not the worst thing ever. So this is actually supposed to be a switcher diesel. If you look to the Lego Factory Train series, one of the later models in the 20s, I think it was a long switcher diesel, and it looks really good. So I thought I'd try and copy that. Thinner body, small cab at the back, of course, but it's not very detailed. I mean, it's a very blocky shape again with that thinner sort of body there. It's not going to be able to get a lot of details out. Along the top is even very brick heavy, a lot of studs. Can't really do anything. I don't want to make it too tall. It shouldn't be this tall. But the green is along there just to keep that green going along the main body. One thing that I do like is where, here we are. So this little section here uses these bricks, and that's brilliant because all the cables are tucked in there, and that allows it to obviously keep enough space, but I can build that up and continue the build nice and easily. Let me try and show you actually, because it's really good. It genuinely is amazing. Ugh, come on, there we are. Try and get those ones off. There we go. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but tucked away in that gap is all of the wires. So let me just take it off one of the sides. There we go. So there we are, there's all of the cables, all of the wiring for the power functions. And yeah, again, it's quite brilliant that I've been able to use a really thin wool piece to be able to keep that all there. It's not healthy seeing that, and it's definitely not doing the power functions any favours. But it works, and I like it. So I'm going to put this back together so I can run it on the track for a bit. Again, it is power function, so may as well show you it in action. If I can remember how to put the bloody thing back together. No, there's one of them, I think. Get one of them. There's one there. And then there we get that one on the top, sure. Not bad. There we go. Right. It's amazing how I haven't run one of these into the walls or off the track. Yeah, there we are. Simple model, not a bad model though. So, this is a bit of a cheap model, it's a bit of a cheaty one as well. I haven't used these proper old style wheels in a very long time, and this is going to be the last time I'm going to be doing so. I'm going to do one more model after this, I'm going to end the series. So this is just a small little truck, and it's kind of like a smaller version of the gondola car that I made early on. It's a nice little truck, it's nice and, you know, small, it's tiny, a cute little thing. It's a little idea as well, you know, in the way of making more rolling stock, because, again, that's something I need. Where is the... hang on, let me go grab the truck that I kept from the factory series. Where the hell is it? There we are. There we go. So, that's the factory series truck, and this is the challenge truck. Obviously not the most detailed thing when compared, but the limited bricks, that don't look too bad. I could even make this a little bit taller, and looking at those details there, I could absolutely use some of these bricks along the side. And if I were to, well, yeah, I am thinking about keeping a gondola truck out of all of these bricks, so copying that sort of design would be a good idea, I think. Yeah, it's something simple, not anything too exciting, sadly, but you know what? It works, and I like it. So, yeah. Definitely going to make a longer version, though, using the big old base plate. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. I used to use some of those grey bricks as well on the bottom. I haven't really used them in a kind of an obvious way compared to past models, but they're sticking out a lot this time using the grey bases to the plates, that is. And yeah, it's really good to see something like this, really. It's, you know, different compared to all the trains I've been making. So yeah, this is model number 14. This is a streamlined steam engine. Of course, it's going to be a tank engine, but you wouldn't... Actually, yeah, you would normally have a streamlined tender engine because it can allow it to go faster. But, you know, with a tank engine, it's smaller, it's lighter, and there's a video online called Steam Speed, or something like that. I think it's called Steam Speed. It's a brilliant video, by the way. Just look it up. It's an animated video. It's like 3 minutes long. But it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And that does take a bit of inspiration from this. Or I took inspiration from that, rather. But yeah, I mean, look at this. It's a small little model. Streamlined all the way along the front. Very chunky at the front, though. But it does go into a 4-wide boiler. Tiny little cab. Oh, hang on. What I can do... Get the seat in there. There we are. Seat. Much better. The red stripes going across the bottom is a bit... bold on this camera, good lord. But it works, I really do like this. Oh man. That's definitely up there, that's a good model. So yeah, there isn't really that much I can really show you because it kind of does what it says on the tin, it's streamlined. The front section is 6 wide to kind of match the size of the wheels as well, because it needs to be 6 wide to fit onto the tracks. It does use a lot of the slopes along the boiler again, sideways. I nearly had this going to be a bunch of these just going across there, but I thought it doesn't really capture a good look. I had a couple left over, I had, well, plenty left over, so I chucked a couple of those bricks on the, well, it's above the middle driving wheels. Isn't that, what's that word? Hubcap? Fenders. Fenders, yeah, I think that's the word. For cars, basically, is that little sticky out a bit over the wheels. That's what it's a thing on race cars. That much I do know. I'm a train person, not cars. Okay. Whistles, because obviously steam train whistles, and again tiny cab as you saw. I was going to try and brick build a cab roof, but everything was just too tall, chunky, and there were some cool ideas again trying to use these bricks, but ultimately it just couldn't work. So I stuck with the good old 6x6. And that's it. That is my streamlined tank engine. And that will mark the end of the series. And you know what? I am very happy with that. I might actually modify this a little bit and put the buffers on the end. I know I'm going to be making a bit of rolling stock or a truck to keep as well, but I might keep this as well. If I just modify this and put a pair of buffers on the end, something worth keeping as well. That's really nice. Yeah, I might do that. Alright, cool. Know what I'm doing after this. So yeah, that's it. That is the end of the series. It's been a lot of fun. It's been very challenging. It is definitely something that I would encourage for other people to do. Just build something and challenge yourself to take it apart and build it up again. One thing to note is that I made a model back in, what was it? I showed the model off in September. Yeah, it was like the beginning of September. And it was just made for, you know, boredom really. So I thought, yeah, just got some bricks, may as well make something. Then the idea for the challenge series came about, and I thought, you know what, let's actually do something with that. And lo and behold, 14... oh, shit. Sorry, ignore that. Drop the controller. So yeah, where was it? So yeah, 14 models later, here we are, we got all of this. Some of them were better than others, obviously, but it's good. It's really, really good. I've absolutely loved this, and I hope to do this again one day in the future. I don't mind this being an annual event, because last year it was the Lego Train Advent Calendar showing you how to build a tank engine, which you can still follow, it's all still up there. This year it was a build challenge, which was, again, really, really fun. And who knows what's going to happen next year. Hopefully this sort of series will appear again, because again, a lot of fun. Absolutely loving this. Right, I've rambled on long enough. 5.5 minutes is plenty of time. I will end this video here. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Coming up after this will be the supercuts of all of the builds put together into one big video. So to anyone who wants to go through the entire series but without having to click on different videos every 5 or so minutes, go just watch that. That's absolutely fine. And to those of you who are watching the supercut, I hope you will enjoy seeing those different models back to back to back throughout the, just half an hour I'm assuming that's going to take. But yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. A lot of fun, this. And after, I'm going to do a little special after, which is like the best and worst of the series. Models that stuck out, and you know, that sort of thing. Right, there we go. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.